Everyone, it is Marie here from Knit August Nights, and it is a month today until Cannes. Yes, a month today until Cannes, and it's actually kind of exciting because it's now that I can actually make lots of final arrangements for Knit August Nights. So much of it is sort of bubbling along, but I can't actually button them off until this last month. So that is so exciting. And I'm coming to you today. If you watch my skeins videos, you know I generally do those on Sodat Skeins, but today I'm working from my Cannes office, which is otherwise known as the shed here in Eureka. It's otherwise known as my shed here at home. So hopefully, now that the kids are back at school, I'll have no disturbances and I'll be able to have a good catch up with you and let you know what's going on. So there is loads going on, and whilst I've been a bit quiet over the last little bit, it's because I've been bubbling away and getting lots of information pulled together for you. And you may have actually seen that that information has not only been for this year 2018, but also for the 10-year anniversary next year 2019 with the announcement of that cruise. And I'll actually talk about the cruise just now, just to get that out of the way. Yes, Cannes and Napier will still be happening in August 2019. That will remain unchanged, so don't you worry about that whatsoever. The cruise is an added element to celebrate Cannes for 10, because it's not every year that your event turns 10 years old, so that is why we're doing it. I'm working with a wonderful travel consultant in Australia, so we're covering both sides, both Australia and New Zealand. Again, for Cannes here this year, I've got a really strong contingent of Aussies coming out, and it's so good to have you. You add a wonderful fabric to the event. And then also too, we've got people coming from the UK, we've got people coming from the US, we've also got people coming from Europe and Scandinavia. So it is going to be a real multicultural mix this year. So I'm really excited about that. So information on the Cannes cruise is coming. Carly, my offsider who I'm doing this with, is just pulling together all the pricing options for you, and I'm working on the Cannes pricing. We're looking at keeping it quite simple, so then that way there'll be a straight single fee for the Cannes component, and then obviously your cruising fees, and we're doing it that way. So if you choose to travel, actually use it as a family holiday or travel with your loved ones or another friend who will not want to necessarily do the Cannes side of things, it means that they can do that and they're not tied into fees unnecessarily. So yeah, we're just working on all of those at the moment, but definitely make sure that you sign up. You'll see a post previously that I would have made, and with one of the newsletters, but Cannes Cruise is our group, so definitely join that on Facebook, and we've got the link to the newsletter, which I think I have popped out in a previous post, so do make sure you jump online for those. But this year is really tracking along well. We've had a few things zip up and since I spoke to you last, and thank you to all of those who reached out around picking up some extra classes and, you know, making those little alterations to your bookings. I have to say, have not had as much flight out of classes this time around as I've had in previous years, so which is fantastic because that saves me a whole heap of work, which is great news. So there is, I have to say, if you are on a wait list thinking no one's contacted me, literally there's been very little movement. I think I contacted a waitlisted person today, so if you do, or your situation changes, do let me know, because if I have got those wait lists there, and I should be able to sell your classes, hopefully, if we can. But the soiree, I want to talk a little bit about the soiree. The soiree is happening on Friday night as a welcome event this year. We figured let's get everybody while they're fresh, opposed to Saturday night when they actually have been at it for a good couple of days and they're a little bit weary. And we've got a new location for the soiree, which is in the Urban Winery, which is part of the historic Rothmans building. So if you've ever seen pictures of Napier, undoubtedly you have seen photographs of the Art Deco British American Tobacco building, which is that one with the big starburst front entry. It's like, it is the iconic Napier Art Deco building. Well, the Urban Winery is contained within that building. It is just amazing. So we've only got 100 tickets for that. And there is literally only a couple of those. There's like seriously only a few of those left. And that has been sponsored in part this year by the Yarn Queen. So I'm absolutely thrilled that Joy and Ruth have jumped on board with this. And it is their contribution has meant that I have been able to pull together the most incredible grazing table for everybody. So the soiree is not designed as your dinner. It is just an event that you can go to for a few hours to basically mix, mingle, catch up with everybody. Might even be a giveaway or so in there as well, and some prizes, and have a wee drink and a nibble and a bite to eat before you head out for whatever your dinner plans are on the Friday night. I think on the tickets I've got 6:30 to 9:30, but I've spoken to the venue and we can get access actually from 6 o'clock. So essentially, as soon as your classes wrap up on Friday night and the trading hall closes, you just head on straight over to the soiree, and that building is just from the Cannes Hub at East Pier to the Urban Winery is literally a 5 to 7 minute walk. So it's walking down through the village, around the first part of the port, cross the road, and it's right there. So it is nice and close. So if you haven't got a ticket for the soiree yet, do jump on to the little Reggie page, which if you go to knitAugustnights.co.nz up to Regio info, the link is still sitting there under register now. If you've already got your existing registration, don't panic, because you can just click onto the welcome soiree without having to go through the event registration again. So you can just click on that and not have to worry about base registration and get your tickets. As I said, there are literally only a couple of tickets left. And there will be this beautiful, like, it's a huge, big, massive trestle-sized table, which will be all set up as this incredible grazing table with the best of Hawke's Bay cheeses and pickles and all things wonderfully Hawke's Bay. And yeah, and they serve beautiful wines there. Tony Bish, who was the winemaker at Sacred Hill for many, many years, he has now gone out and this is his own venture, Tony Bish Wines, and they are amazing. There's also right next door to the venue is a brewery, which is actually a cooperative microbrewery, which whilst it doesn't have its own cellar door, they do sell craft beer as well from that brewery. And if you don't like to imbibe, there are some really funky sodas and colas and things like that. So it'll be just a really nice way to sort of mix and mingle and see everybody and say good day and, you know, to kick your weekend off. So that is the soiree, and thank you to the Yarn Queen for supporting that. It makes a huge, huge difference having the support from our wonderful sponsors. The movie. I have had loads of people ask me about the movie, and I have sent an email off to the lovely Louisa at the Globe Theaterette and requested Book Club, which I just think is perfect for Cannes. That is with Jane Fonda and I think Diane Keaton. I mean, an incredible cast of ladies. So that's the film I've requested. Hopefully it is sitting in the roster for August. So hopefully we should pick that one up. With any luck, we should get that, and I have given her a second choice and a third choice film. So I will find out from Louisa very soon, and as soon as I have those details, I'll whip out an email to everybody, let them know what the movie is for the Thursday night, which is 6 p.m. Thursday night, which is, for those who have not come before, it's a lights up knitting session. And a lights up knitting session means that they only have the house lights down halfway, so you can actually sit there and do your knitting and watch the film. And if you've never been to the Globe Theaterette before, it's only a 45-seat theatre. It's a really gorgeous little boutique theatre, and the best thing is that you can take in your own. You can partake in your own snacks, or you can buy it. They've got a bar there. You can grab yourself a nice glass of something or a coffee, and you can take that into the theatre to enjoy while you're watching your movie. So it's all very civilised. So once I get that movie guaranteed, I will let you know how you go about booking that, because you book that directly with the Globe and with Louisa, and that's just with an email. So I will let you know those details when they come through. Also, those to go to that film, you don't have to be registered for CAN. So if you're traveling with a friend or family and they want to go and have a look at the movie as well, or you've got someone here that you know in Hawke's Bay who you want to catch up with that may enjoy that film, you can bring them along to that. It is not exclusive to CAN registrants. It is open to anybody. So, but as I said, it is only a 45-seat theatre, and we have sold that film out the last few years. So that is the CAN Lights Up movie. Speaking of sponsors, I mentioned sponsors before. One of the other people who've come on board this year is the great Debs from Outlaw Yarn. And Deb is going to be she's teaching on Saturday morning at Skeins, and she will be there doing an in-store at Skeins on Saturday morning and talking about her full range of yarns. But the other thing that she will be doing on Friday is she is the stagecoach driver for the Outlaw Stagecoach Express, otherwise known as Marie's Care Carnival. And she will be driving, we'll be running a shuttle on Friday from East Pier across to Skeins. So for those of you who don't have your own transportation and you don't want to miss out on getting over to Skeins to do your shopping, and again, people who have been before will tell you what we do with Skeins is it's because we have so much stock and so much product and all different things, it's just too unwieldy for us to bring it across to the event. So a few years ago, I made the decision that instead of doing that, we will transport everyone over to Skeins, and you actually get a much, much better shopping experience coming to our bricks and mortar store. So we've been doing that a few years now and running shuttles, and it's so much easier for everybody. So Debs she is the driver. She is the coach mistress on Friday, so she will be running those shuttles across. They are free of charge, they do not cost you. So there'll be a CAN flag outside East Pier. You just need to look for that CAN flag, and that's the staging point where you'll get picked up and dropped off, and she'll just be continuously running backwards and forwards across to Skeins. And on Saturday, she will hand the reins over to Mr. CAN. My husband will be driving the Stagecoach Express on Saturday, along with my dad, who will be driving his minibus on Saturday as well. So again, a lot of the regulars I know love my dad, who is still working in his mid-70s, and he's been in the wool industry for a very, very, very long time. So for those who have not met my dad, and you want to talk about the wool industry, farming, sheep, and anything involving fibre, I warn you, it is only a 7-minute drive from CAN HQ to Skeins. He will fill it with information the entire time, and then if you get him on the way back, he will fill it with information on the way back as well. He loves it. He's really passionate about the subject, and he loves driving. He loves driving the CAN shuttles. So he is back on Saturday, and we again are running those tours. So the tours are same times as previous years, 9:15, 10:15, 11:15 and 12:15. Don't panic if you're in a morning class on Saturday morning. That 12:15 one is for you. We will let you know that you can just shuffle yourselves out of those classes just a wee bit. Like if you've got yourself all sorted, you know what you're doing, shuffle out 10 minutes before the end and get yourself on that last coach over, and you will be able to get into that last tour. So that's absolutely no problem there whatsoever. So that is the shuttles across to Skeins and those tours. Now, the other thing I wanted to let you know is I've been talking to, again, on the topic of sponsors, I've been really wonderful to have had 3 foundation sponsors who have been with me right from day one. One of those obviously is Skeins, and that's really because it didn't have any choice, because it's my other half of my life. So it was there whether it liked it or not. But I also have been working right from the establishment of Knit August Nights with Vintage Pearls and with the Holland Road Yarn Company. And both of those businesses have just been amazing because they've offered support that you guys don't necessarily see. Morag, her other crazy mad skills before she created Vintage Pearls, which she herself has just had her 10-year anniversary, is she worked in IT and software design and development. So she's the person that actually helps keep the website for me up and running. She tidies things up from time to time because I get in there and clomp around and don't make things look as terribly nice as they should. But she is the person that when I have a snafu, she is amazing, and she is the one that will often sort things out and get things up and running and make sure that things are ticking along smoothly, as well as the other support that she offers that I require is to get the event off the ground. She is hugely, hugely important. And the Holland Road Yarn Company have been just incredible, because without them, there wouldn't have been a bag for your goodies all these years. And Tash has been supplying those. She does them exclusively for Canon, for the store, and they've become a real fixture. And, you know, and those, everybody loves those bags, and those of you that have come for multiple years have those can bags, and you just use them again and again and again and again. And I know I do. I mean, they're my favorite project bags. I have them all the time. I use them for shopping bags. I use them for all sorts. They are wonderful. And Tash came to me because she's been thinking about zero waste and actually how we can make improvements at Can. And one of the things that a lot of us do at Can is drink a lot of hot beverages, especially coffee. And so we've been talking about just different little things that we can do at Can just to make a wee difference. And one of those things is I did the coffee cups last year, the ceramic coffee mugs. I'm actually looking at doing a coffee cup this year, but doing it as a thermal mug, reusable. So then that way you can either use it for hot or cold beverages, whatever takes your pick, but it's completely reusable, and it's a travel cup, which makes perfect sense for Can. So it means that you can make your coffee at your hotel or pop off to your classes. It's all there. It's not going to get spilt, and it is yours. So those are just getting mocked up at the moment, and once those become available, I will let you know, and you should be able to pre-order those or buy those at Can from me. So, and they'll be all branded, so they'll be available, and a really reasonable price too. So I've been able to, I'll keep the price right down on them. The other request that I've got is for those of you who've been many times before, as you know, I'm rather fond of my sparkly lanyards. So if you've got one of your sparkly lanyards from a previous year, do please feel free to bring it back and recycle it. You know, if I do have lanyards for this year, don't get me wrong, I have enough for everybody, but certainly if you'd like to bring yours and recycle it back, we would appreciate it. You know, that all helps. Or the little card holders that we have at the bottom, especially the ones from last year, which were fantastic, and those are the ones I've got again this year. So if you've got those and you'd like to bring them back, please do, because that just sort of saves me having to order too many all the time, and they don't just, you know, so they don't disappear. So if you'd like to do that, that would certainly help. And yeah, we're just working on and Tash is going to be looking at some possible recycling ideas as well. So that could be something that will crop up this year around the event at Can. Last but not least, just some availabilities. I have had one cancellation in the Nathan Taylor Day, so there is one spot going there. If you haven't yet registered and you're watching this and you're like, okay, that's it, decision made, I'm going to do it, to come for the Nathan Day, that one spot is sitting there, and it is live on the registration site now, on the registration page. Or if you've already got bookings for the rest of the weekend, but you've missed out, or you haven't got much of the other Nathan pieces in there, and you want to get in on that day, just drop me a line and let me know, and I can, if you're already registered, I can actually get you into the Nathan Day and actually change the price out, because because registration is included in the Nathan Taylor Day. So just let me know, and we can get that. Did I get that right? No, I didn't get that right. Anyway, let me know. If you really want to come to the Nathan Day, give me a holler, and we can get that one last spot filled. But in the meantime, I'm going to keep going, because I need to get information for Tudors sorted. I need to get information for traders sorted. Speaking of the information from Tudors, that's all coming in thick and fast at the moment. So for those of you who've been wondering about requirements and homework, they are fairly, from what I've seen so far, they are fairly light, so don't panic on that too much. There's my dog. They will be coming in, so I will hopefully have those out. I'm aiming to have that welcome wagon and everything out to you next week, so that way you'll be able to see what you need to do and what to have prepared for the event. So until then, I may actually even talk to you again next week, but until then, hang out there. Drop me a line if you need to know anything, info@knitaugustnights.co.nz. But failing that, I will see you all in a month. So excited. Okay, I'll see you then. Bye.